Week 4 check-in. Where we're at. The phone for the day. 350 on the button. All right, we got leg day going down. We're gonna start with a single leg hamstring curl. We're typically gonna start with something to do with the hamstring. As I like to protect the knees so that when we go into our squats and our pendulum and our leg press, our knees are protected and warmed up from doing a hamstring exercise. I'm not a big believer in doing leg extensions to start because that's just going to aggravate your knees. So if you do have knee issues, this is the bread and butter to start your leg day. Here's the example. So we're going to dip our hip down a little bit. We're not going to be too up high so we can get a full range of motion here. So we're going to be on our calf. We're going to make sure that we squeeze at the top here and get the contraction. Nice and slow. Okay, we're moving on to our first compound movement of the day here to isolate the quads. We're going to focus on the hack squat, and the key to this is going to be driving through your toes. We don't want to have a too wide of a stance so that our adductors and our glutes and hamstrings take over. It's going to be more of a narrow stance with our knees over our toes, okay? Here's the example. So we're going to have a narrow stance right at the base of the platform, you can see. Typically, you're going to see high up here with a wide stance, but that's going to dig into our hamstrings, which we don't want here, okay? So we're going to go low on the platform, nice and narrow. Driving down all the way to 90 and a little bit lower than 90 even. Right here we want to be. Squeezing through those quads. Driving through toes. Moving on to our second compound movement here, we're going to do leg press. Going to be quad focused again. We're going to be low on the pad with a little bit of a wider stance here. That's not going to interfere with any of our quad work, okay? We're going to keep it wide just for the comfort of the exercise, okay? Here's the example. So we're nice and low on the pad here, okay? Not too high up. We're going to be focused on driving through with our quads here, okay? Nice stance. Shoulder a little wider than shoulder width. key is gonna be squeezing through those toes, not our heels. Want to find a good spot right here. Not too deep, then it goes into our glutes. Right about here, we're gonna pause. Now we're gonna squeeze up with our quads. Moving on, we're going to start isolating the glutes and the adductors a little bit, and then we're going to move back to a quad extension for the quads. With this movement here, we're going to be working on the upper glute part. I want you to lean forward and not leaning back. That's going to hit more in the middle of your glute, where we want to work that upper shelf here, okay? Here's the example. So typically, you're going to be back in the seat here. Okay, this is going to work more in that mid-range of the glute. I want you leaning forward. Now this is going to bring the activation to your upper part of your glute here. With a nice squeeze at the end. Okay, we're gonna finish off our quads with an isolation movement here with a quad extension. Key here is that we're gonna keep our toes pointed towards us. That's gonna engage this outer quad piece, okay? If you let your toe off, it's gonna be more in the mid, which is also fine, but we're trying to work that outer quad here, okay? Here's the example. Okay, so we're gonna keep our toes nice and pointed up so that engage our outer quad here, okay? Adductors for your inner thighs here, okay? I like to use this as a finisher always after we've torched those quads. Since we've got a nice pump on the outside, now we're gonna bring it into the inside here, okay? Here's the example. Pretty short, straightforward movement here, okay? Just got to get yourself in a nice position, seated. Now we're just going to be squeezing with those inner thighs, okay, and bringing everything together. We're just going to pretend there's a watermelon here, and we're going to smash that thing apart. Here we go. Really engage those inner thighs here. Squeezing through our heels and our knees, okay? Get that stretch. You want that stretch? Contraction.